morning. Good morning and welcome to good morning. Welcome to Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It's September 21st, 2022. It is it is guess what? You know what I always say, September 21st, 2022 year, it's the only one. Good to hear you. Good to hear you here. It is so good to be here. It is great to be alive. Great to feel like we're doing something cool. This was one of those days that was like super struggle. You hear that now? This morning so second I'm here, the second year here, so fantastic to love the group. If you are here, you listen to the much more. I do the same, and you say hello, good morning. I know you're here, and we will get rolling. So good morning, Carrie Lee. Good morning, Exodus of Lake Country. Good morning, Exodus of Lake Nation. We are so happy that everybody's here, and so happy that you guys are up with us and doing it. So looking forward to a cool conversation as well. I hope.
Very muffled. Can't understand. Okay, hang on a second. Check. Audio check. Is this any better? Everybody's good? Okay, perfect. Sorry. I don't know what happened. So I guess Carrie says it's working now. So I guess we'll try this again. Good morning. Hopefully it's all working now. Good morning, Alex and Vanessa and Carrie and Melanie. Man, so good that you guys are up. Glad it's working. Okay, great. Here we go. And man, welcome to Wednesday, right? Welcome to September 21st. Welcome to September 21st, 2022. Welcome to the only one of these you're going to get. The only one. There's only one of these. All right. Perfect. All right. We are all set up. We are good to go. Hopefully this thing's going to get out and we're going to get more people on this deal on our call this morning, but glad everybody's good. Looking forward to had a great day yesterday. Looking forward to a cool day today. Going to be in Orlando, I think, tomorrow for our Master Broker Summit. So we'll be in Orlando tomorrow and Friday, back in Georgia this weekend, and then obviously next week we'll get to see all your pretty smiling faces in person. So super glad to be here this morning. I think we're going to Orlando. I had a text message from Christy yesterday that said we may not be going, but I think we're going. Y'all, morning, Michelle T. You see, I know I've got a vehicle on mine. I'll talk to y'all about that all the time, and you guys know. Man, I thought I had it. I thought I was so close. I got an email last week that said it was here, or said that this truck came across my email, and I went, oh my gosh, that's it. It was going to be here in Nashville. Got everything arranged, and when I went to look at it yesterday, it had the wrong interior color. So getting so close, and y'all, it's so funny. Y'all have heard reticular activation system, RAS. So your reticular activation system is something that you have built into you, and it kind of works like this. There's a few of you on this call. So one of you tell me what if you've been able to buy a dream car, like you've been able to own a car that you've always wanted, a vehicle that you always wanted. Text in there, put in the comments what vehicle it was. Because if you're like most people, you want this vehicle, you want this vehicle, you want this vehicle, you want this car, you want this truck. Morning, Millie, and you finally get it, and then once you get it, and you drive out of the lot, you pull up like the third light, and you see like every other vehicle is the same one as you, right? If you went and bought a black Tesla, you would and that's something you always wanted. You pulled out of the Tesla parking lot and started driving it around. You'd pass 4 or 5 different Teslas, and that's the theory of the reticular activation system. Um, Millie got her Mercedes, and she said, "Yep." As soon as you get it, I'm telling you, they just show up everywhere because now your focus, your energy, what you're perceiving and your perception brings more of those into your field of view. And maybe it's just coincidence that you happen to notice them now, or it's actually something that comes into your field of view, into your conscious field of view, because subconsciously now you are looking at that thing, right? So I'm saying that to say this: how this works. This is like attracts like. The reticular activation system is the scientific thing behind like attracts like. It is the scientific piece behind what we always tell you. What you see in here is what you'll see out here. And and so yesterday we were driving to the car lot to go look at this vehicle, and y'all, I passed three exactly the same kinds of. I knew it was. I was like, I'm getting this today. Today's the day. I got it because I passed one passing the airport. I passed one when we got the interstate, and I passed another one coming this way, driving to the car lot. And I was like, and they were exactly the same, blacked out, murdered out, tinted windows, the whole deal. And I'm like, man, gonna be a good day. And then I get there, and the interior, I didn't get anything, Millie. The interior was wrong. The pictures they sent me were of a tan interior, and the car that I went and looked at had a black interior. So bait and switch. So I've got a 2014 Toyota Highlander with 285,000 miles on it, 260,000 miles on it. So we're getting closer, though. Man, we're getting so close. Getting so close. Y'all, so this morning I want to talk to you about the theme of this was you're one decision away. You're one decision away. We talk all the time about, good morning, Lynn. We talk all the time about we're always moving. So we're always in motion. Things are always in motion. As soon as we're born, right? Things start to be in motion. As soon as you're conceived, things start to be in motion. As soon as those two things come together to create a human, that's in motion. There's growth. There's duplication. There's more duplication. It's the theory of compound interest, right? Two cells become four, four become eight becomes 16, 16 32. It's compound interest, and so before long you're an entire person, right? And so everything's always in motion. We're either moving forward or moving backwards. There's nothing that's ever still in nature. So so as man, y'all, I got it this morning, and I know I've been doing this for a while, and getting up in the morning now is a habit. It's really easy for me to get up in the morning at 3:45 when I'm in Nashville. It's super easy to get up at 4:45 now when I'm in Georgia. It's really, really easy. It's not a bother. It is like I don't even struggle with it anymore until this morning. Jet lag's a real deal, right? And when you come, and we don't go out west very often, but when you go out west, you're 2 hours behind. You're an hour behind. You're 2 hours behind. We went from Boston to Denver, and we went 2 hours behind. So like your body's trying to acclimate to, because your body clock and the physical clock are two separate things. And so flying back, it has been a struggle to kind of get back in the groove and feel normal. I was exhausted yesterday morning, but I'd missed a couple of runs, so I knew I had to get up and run. This morning, I went to bed relatively early last night, but got up at 3:45 this morning, and it was, yeah, right, Carrie. So you understand this? I mean, when you come back from Mountain Time or even Pacific Time back to Eastern Time, man, it throws you into your body into an absolute tizzy. It does, or at least mine. It does. That's just not something I'm used to. I'm used to traveling, and I'm used to being back and forth from Central to Eastern, but going from Eastern to Mountain or Eastern to Pacific, wow, that'd be tough. If I had to do it all the time. Um, but this morning, when the alarm went off, I was sleeping so good because I think I'm in a little sleep deficit right now. I'm not really sure how, but I think it's just yet night before last I didn't sleep very much. Last night was better, but not quite as much as I needed because guess what? Guess guess so in Tennessee, and I'm certain it's like this in most states, when you get your broker's license, you have in Tennessee, I have 3 years to take 120 hours of post license broker education. 3 years. So I got my broker's license in 2019. So I had this feeling 2 days ago. 2 days ago that I said, yeah, I need to probably check on when my 3 years is up because I've got to be getting close to when my 3 years is up. So I get on the system here in Tennessee and I look it up to find out when my 3 years is up. And somebody take a guess when my 3 years is up. Just a guess. Play the Jeopardy music in your head and in your heart. Take a just take a guess as to when my 3 years may be up to get my 120 hours of post broker. Oh gosh, Carrie, not today. Whew, thank jeez. Not today. No, y'all. No, it's not that bad. It's almost that bad. So it's next week. So it's due the end of September. I got to have it done by October the 1st. So imagine my shock when I click the link and it pops up. I've got to be done by October the 1st. I'm just like, yes, Lynn, the end of the month. I'm like, oh my gosh. So every waking hour of my day now is spent doing 120 hours of post broker license course. So let this be a lesson to you. Do not procrastinate. You're one decision away. And that's not really my point of this. It just kind of falls in line. We're all one decision away because you know what? I've had the thought and had the feeling to go check that previously. I've had the thought and I've had the feeling to go there and look to see when I need to go take that post broker licensing course. I've had the thought and had the feeling I've even looked it up on the CE shop multiple times to see how much it costs, when I need to start it, and what I need to do. And I just never did it. So now I'm dealing with the consequences of not making that decision. We're all one decision away. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. It didn't have to be this hard, right? I had 3 years to do it. 3 years. I could have knocked this out 2 years ago and been finished and been done with it and not had to sweat it. But now every waking hour of my day is going to be spent getting through 120 hours of this course from now through the end of the month. So, in spite of all the other things that I've got to do, I've got to try to fit this in. We're all one decision away. My decision, my choice to get out of bed this morning at 3:45 to go run. I could have easily made the decision to stay in the bed and probably could have justified it. I could have justified it. I'm tired. I traveled last week. I still haven't recovered. I can do it tomorrow. One decision away. What are you one decision away from? Because we all talk about all the time this greatness, this purpose, this passion, this thing that you got to do, this direction that you got to go, this ring that you need to grab, this thing that you need to go get, and not necessarily because of you or for you, but for the people who look at you, for the people who are watching you, for the people who are following behind you, for the legacy that you're creating, for the legendary status that you're building. Y'all, you're one decision away. We're either moving forward or moving backward. Yesterday we talked about the long black train and either riding on the fifth car on the train or riding in the first car in the train. You're either riding in the middle of the train or you're riding in the engine. You're either going to drive this thing or it's going to drive you. Well, you're one decision away. And so we talk all the time about doing these things and doing that thing and doing small things over and over and over and consistent and persistent. And every one of these videos, these motivational things, because I got up and ran. And when I was running, the first thing that popped up, and it's always a new one. So every single morning when I get out, I walk out the front door and I turn my phone on. There's always a new one at the top of the screen. So YouTube always refreshes. I'm not searching for one. It just like, pops up and I push play and we rock. Well, this morning it was about self control, controlling one's self. managing one's behaviors, managing your emotions, doing something big in spite of feeling bad, doing something that matters in spite of feeling worthless, doing something enormous in spite of feeling inadequate. All that self-control. Self-control is nothing more than a decision. Self-control is nothing more than I can make the decision to walk in my strength. I can make the decision to walk in my glory. I can make the decision to walk in my purpose, or I can make the decision to walk like I always walk. I could have made the decision to stay in the bed. I could have made the decision not to run. And guess what? None of you would be affected by that. Quite honestly, I might not have been affected by that to a large degree. Or would I? Does that one day turn into 2 days? Does that 2 days turn into 6 months? Because I'll be honest with you. So I ran Friday, and then when I got up Saturday morning, I was exhausted. I take it back. I didn't run Friday morning because that was the morning that was after the Thursday night that was kind of rough. I didn't run Saturday. I didn't run Sunday, and I didn't run Monday. But I got back to Tennessee on Monday morning. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I just wanted to sleep. I had to catch up, so I didn't run. Christy was very concerned about me not running those 3 days. She's like, "You've got to go run on Sunday," and I just never went out and ran on Sunday. She goes, "You've got to stay in this groove. You've been doing so great. You got to stay in this groove. You got to stay in this motivation. You got to keep doing what you've been doing." And I just didn't do it. And so when I told her yesterday morning I got up and ran, she was really, really excited. Were any of you affected by me not running on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday? Did the sun not come up or the sun didn't set? Did it affect how you went through your day? Did you have any concern about me running or not running? No, you didn't. And luckily, I've built enough muscle memory and I've built enough resolve that yesterday morning it wasn't that big a deal. So I got up yesterday morning and ran. I got up this morning and ran, and this morning was harder than yesterday morning. This morning was tougher than Tuesday. Wednesday was tougher than Tuesday. You're all one decision away. What is it you got to make a decision on today? What is it that you are that there's a longing or a driving in your spirit, something pushing you, something nudging you, something in there that's kind of trying to get you going in a direction that's waiting for you to make a decision. Because procrastination is a decision. Putting something off is a decision. Not taking action is a decision. And every decision has consequences. Every single decision that we make, there are consequences. Now, consequences, we all look at consequences, and consequences sometimes, most times for most people, have a negative connotation. But I don't think consequences aren't always negative. The consequences of me running every single morning is I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to be able to run more. I'm going to be able to run further. It's going to help my acuity. It's going to help my physical strength. So the consequences of me getting up and running every single day are good. Millie goes and works out every morning. Miss Carrie's reading books. The consequences of those decisions, Michelle working out every day, Alex working out, doing what y'all do. Every single day you're making those decisions. Those decisions have requisite consequences. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. So think about decisions that you haven't made. Think about things, and sometimes we make stupid decisions, and there are big consequences. Sometimes we make dumb decisions. We operate in our fear. We operate in our ego. We operate in this scarcity mindset. How many? I mean, as I was thinking about this morning, And I think about all the conversations that Christy and I have had with agents, potential agents, people who have come and been introduced to us and and decided not to join Exit, decided to go work at Remax, or decided to go work at Keller Williams, or decided to go do something else. All the people who were here and decided to leave. I'm not saying those are good decisions or bad decisions necessarily. I'm not saying they were right or wrong necessarily. But when I look at those people, and then I look at you guys and our agents and what we do as a company, are Christy and I perfect? No. Is Exit Realty Lake Country perfect? No. Do do I believe that Exit Realty Lake Country is a different kind of real estate company? Yes. Do I believe the people that we have at Exit Realty Lake Country love each other with their absolute whole hearts? Yes. Do I believe that Christy and I love each one of you with our whole hearts? Yes. Do I believe that's reciprocated? Reciprocated? Yes. I believe we are a different kind of real estate company, and I believe that's a result of decisions that Christy and I made. I mean, think about this. One decision away. One decision away. I want you to look at where we are right now as a company. 6 offices in Georgia, 1 office in Tennessee. High 50s, low 60s numbers of agents. Revenue, money, numbers doing this. Your transaction counts doing this. People on this call right now who've gone from making $20,000 or $30,000 a year to making over $200,000 a year. People who watch this call in our company who went from making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year to making $500,000 a year, or $750,000 a year, or $100,000 a year. People on this call who had dreams to go do things and gone out and bought a beach house and a second home here and done big things. I mean, this is what's happening in our circles right now. Did I understand when I made the decision to join Exit in 2017? When I sat at the back of that Office Depot and I was staring at the ceiling and I was asking God to give me some insight, you got to give me some direction, because I didn't know whether to join Remax or to join Exit, because they both felt exactly the same. One didn't feel any better than the other. And I made the decision to go to an Exit Southeast rally, an Exit Southeast Awards event in Nashville. I made the decision to go drive my car from where I was to where that was. I sacrificed my time, made a decision to go down there, y'all. And I didn't go down there with my spouse. It wasn't like I was being supported. I had to make this decision all on my own. It wasn't like I had support at home telling me, oh my gosh, go do this. I'm going to support you. Go make a great decision. I'm going to encourage you to go do something cool. I didn't have that. And I went down there and I heard Steve Morris speak. When I heard Steve Morris speak, it resonated inside my guts, inside my spirit, and I knew this is where I needed to be. So I made a decision to join Exit. When I had the conversation about owning a brokerage, owning real estate companies, I had no desire to be a broker. I had no desire to own real estate companies. I had no desire to want to try to go lead. I was happy just making money. I was making a really good living and doing exactly what I wanted to do. But I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't happy. I knew there was something more. And I tried. I built a team, started putting the team pieces together. The team just never clicked. It just never clicked. It never did. It never worked. People didn't like working for me on a team. People didn't like being around me on a team. And I would have one I'd work with and they'd leave. I'd have another one that'd work with me, they'd leave. Oh, we want to work with Aaron. Christy did the exact same thing. It was the same process for her when she opened up her company. So when I made the decision to go to a lunch. When I went to that lunch, I made a decision to investigate opening a franchise. I made a decision to go find a partner. I made a decision to do these things. We're one decision away. We wouldn't be where we are right now if I hadn't made the decision to go to Canada. We wouldn't be where we are right now if I hadn't made the decision to go to downtown Toronto and have a conversation with my partner and with Christy. We wouldn't be where we are today if those decisions weren't done. Looking back in hindsight, it's all super clear. Looking forward into that decision making process, it was super cloudy because there were a lot of things around that decision to go to Canada that were telling me I shouldn't go. There were a lot of things around that decision to go they were saying I shouldn't go. But if I wouldn't have gone, if I would have listened to my fear, if I would have listened to my worry, if I would have listened to how easy it would be to not go, if I would have made the decision not to go based on my fear, I would be sitting here on September 21st, 2022, talking to you guys at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be up every single morning running, having the desire to read and try to get better, to try to talk to you, to try to have these conversations with you, to put these things on the internet so maybe some other person sees them, to have them on YouTube, to have people ridicule us, to have people say that we sound like idiots, to have other people critique and throw stones and arrows at us. None of these things would happen. You're one decision away from being legendary, but you're also one decision away from being obsolete. You're one decision away from creating a legacy, but you're also one decision away from being mediocre. You're one decision away from being the mom, the husband, the dad, the wife, the brother, the sister, the son, the daughter that you're supposed to be. Or you're one decision away from not. I've come to realize, and maybe it's something that's come up recently, maybe it's something that's come up in the past, but I've come to realize that some of the decisions that we make, they're really hard. But I've come to realize that seemingly the more difficult this decision is to make, the more impact it has on our life. The more challenging the decision is, the more challenge as a result of the decision, the more impact that consequence has on our life. I'm telling you right now, me getting up at me going and running every single morning, doing something that I really if I'm looking at my list of top 10 things to do, it is not on my top 10 list of things to do. Going and running is not on my top 10 list of things to do. It's probably not in my top 20. But I know that me running is not for the sake of running. Me running is for the sake of my mind. Me running is for the sake of my heart. Me running is for the sake of my company. Me running is for the sake of my marriage. Me running is for the sake of my sons and my daughters. My running is for the sake of my friends because it is adding clarity. It is adding persistence. It is creating in me this desire to be better every single day. So I make the decision to embrace that suck. I make the decision to do something that's not on my top 10 list of things to do. It's not on my fun list, I can assure you, but I make the decision to go do that because I understand that decision is making me legendary. That decision is creating a legacy. That decision is allowing my sons to see me get up at 3:45 in the morning and go do something every single day that I don't want to do because I know what the benefit is. We're all one decision away. You're one decision away from being legendary or being obsolete. You're one decision away from being mediocre or being legendary. You're one decision away from walking in your purpose and walking in your God given birthright, or you're one decision away from procrastinating, putting it off, doing something else. You're one decision away from being the best mentor you can be. You're one decision away from being the best wife you can be. You're one decision away to being from being the best human you can be. What will you choose? What will you decide to do? I wish I could say that all my decisions were great, but I promise you they haven't been. All your decisions haven't been great either. We all do stupid crap that we kind of wish we could take back sometimes. We all do things that we wish we wouldn't have started. We all have habits or things that maybe we wish we wouldn't have done when we did it. We all have these things. But I'm convinced that making a decision and either and making the decision and experiencing the consequences is better than making the decision not to do something and dealing with the regrets. Because consequences of action are always better than the consequences from regret. Even if it's wrong, even if you make the decision, even if you decided to join Exit Realty Lake Country and decided to leave because you didn't feel like you fit in, you didn't feel like there's enough value here, you didn't feel like you liked Aaron and Christy enough, you didn't feel like this was a place for you. You joined Exit Realty Lake Country and you figured it was a mistake, so you needed to go change. And we've had that. And I look at the people and the names of these people who come into our company and who have left our company, people who are in our company right now and maybe thinking about leaving our company. I'll say this: if you're watching this in a little bit, Camelia, Lynn, there's only 6 of you on here right now, so I'm not sure. Maybe Wednesday's a tough morning for people. But if you watch this later and you're at Exit Realty Lake Country and you're not all in, and you're thinking about leaving because you think there's a better thing on the other side, or you think there's a better opportunity for you somewhere else, I'm going to tell you to make the decision to go somewhere else. Because for you, what I want for you in your life is to be all in. Whatever it is that you're going to go do, or whatever it is that you want to go be, I want you to go all in. I'm not a fan of having a foot in two different boats. You can't operate that way. You can't put a foot in two canoes and get down the river. You got to put both feet in a canoe and go your way. And I want people at this company, I want people at Exit Realty Lake Country who are fully invested, they're they are they are bought into what we're doing. And if this is just a stop for you, if this is just another real estate company for you, and you're not buying in, or you're not fully invested in what we're doing, and you're just biding your time until there's another opportunity that comes, I'm telling you right now, if you watch this later, go do it. Because I promise you, if we have in this company 60 agents, 100 agents, or 10 agents, I want them to be fully engaged, 2 feet in their canoe, and let's all go the same direction. Let's buy in, go the same direction, and go change the world because that's really what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in changing this industry. I'm interested in having an Exit Realty Lake Country truck full of agents who are like freaking Spartans, who will go fight for each other, who will go bleed for each other, who will go stand up for each other, who will go into battle for each other, who rise up for each other, who climb the mountain for each other, who stand at the top for each other. That's the kind of company that I want. And that's the kind of company that we have. And that's the kind of company that is going to be and that we're building. This isn't just another real estate company. We are not just another brand. And I don't know if anybody's still here or if you guys are all gone, but because I don't, my number is really, really low this morning. And that's really strange. But I'm just telling you right now, you're one decision away. You're one decision away. You're one decision away from living your greatest life. You're one decision away from living an average life. And I used to think that average was okay, but average isn't okay. Being like everybody else isn't okay. We have an entire generation of kids. Y'all, it started as average. It started as middle of the road. It started as everything being okay. Now we're evolving into a place where we don't have where there's man, this gets off in a. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna say this or not. Sorry. A canyon is created one drop of water at a time. One drop of water at a time, 2 drops of water, 3 drops of water. That over time creates canyons. One little crack creates a divide. And we as a society, I believe, have been duped into believing that being average is okay. We as a society have been duped into believing that mediocrity is okay, that making C's is okay. We 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 don't allow we frown on genius. And I'm not saying that as a society, we frown on genius. We frowned on those people who went out front. We look at those people who do the great things, the Mavericks, the ones who are the Bill Gates and the starting the stuff and all these people who do these elite things. We look at them as somehow super special. We look at them as somehow super gifted or super blessed, or they were maybe born with it on a different planet, flew here in a little rock and then landed and blew up, and they were. I mean, but they're not. They just decided they didn't want to be average. They decided they didn't want to be like everybody else. They decided they wanted to be a champion. They decided they didn't want to be average. They didn't want to be mediocre. They decided they wanted to change their world. And so everything they did, every decision they made was on the path of greatness. But we have been duped as a society, the large majority of us, into this feeling of average. This feeling of average, this desire to be mediocre and to not make other people uncomfortable by our greatness, to not make other people uncomfortable because we push so hard, to not make other people uncomfortable because we want more than what we have, to not make other people uncomfortable because we don't want to stay in the same stagnant position that we are right now. The uncomfortableness that creates for other people, a lot of us decide we don't want to go do those things because we don't want to make other people uncomfortable. We allow the opinions of others to hold us back. Now that's degraded. Now that's devolved, not evolved, but devolved into now we have people who we don't even use we can't use pronouns anymore. We don't have any gender identity on bathrooms. We got kids who are dressing up in animal costumes. I mean, I just heard last week that in some Chicago City schools, they're putting litter boxes at the schools so the kids who believe they're cats can go pee in the litter boxes. I still don't know if that's true or not, but this is a guy from Chicago, and that's what and that's and y'all, This is what happens when we make the decisions to be mediocre. When people make decisions to be average, when you buy into the lie that being average and mediocre is okay, we're either going forward or we're going backward. And being average devolves into being lazy. Being lazy devolves into not standing for anything. Not standing for anything devolves into I don't know who I am, so I might as well figure out something else. So I'm just going to go be a cat. I know I was born with this, but I think I'm that. I know I was born this way, but I feel like I'm that way. Do you see where this goes? One decision away. We're either going forward or we're going backward. It's harder to climb up the mountain than it is to fall down the mountain. It's a lot more challenging to climb to the summit than it is to fall to the valley. I can assure you, if I was standing at the bottom of Pikes Peak and I decided to walk to the top, that was going to be a heck of a lot harder than I was if I was at the top of Pikes Peak and I decided I want to go to the bottom. All I got to do to get to the bottom is just sit down and start rolling, and I'm eventually going to hit the bottom. The gravitational pull going this way is a heck of a lot stronger than the mental fortitude and the intestinal fortitude and the mental toughness and the grit that you got to have to go from the bottom to the top. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. You're one decision away. You can decide to listen to the voices in your head and quit. You can decide to listen to the voices in your head and stop. You can decide to let the voices in your head tell you that it's too hard to keep going. You can let the voices in your head tell you that you don't have time, that you're not talented enough, that you're not pretty enough, that you're not smart enough. You can let all the voices in your head tell you all kinds of things, and you can make decisions based on those voices in your head. Or you can embrace the suck. You can understand that climbing up the mountain is hard, that changing and progressing forward is hard. You can embrace the suck of growth. There's, y'all, there is pain in growth. There is. There is hard struggle in growth. It is hard to climb to the top, to push against the masses, to decide to be something great, to decide to be legendary. Those small decisions are difficult. They are challenging. It's not hard to sleep in. It's not hard to watch TV instead of reading a book. It's not hard to not do homework. It is not hard to not get up in the morning and be on these calls. It's not hard to not schedule your day. It's not hard. It's not difficult to be average. It's easy. Anybody can do it. You're one decision away. You're one decision away. What will you decide today? Will you decide today to live the best day of your life? Will you decide today to live the best, most prosperous, most purposeful, most dedicated day of your life today, September 21st, 2022? Will you decide to live the best day of your life? Will you decide to be more engaged with your spouse? Will you decide to be more engaged with your children? Will you decide to be more engaged in your business? Will you decide to do the things that have needed to be done for the last week, month, or year that you've not done? Will you decide today that September 21st, will you put a star by this day and make a decision that in the next 18 hours of this day, that you're going to ring and grab and fight and pull every wonderful thing out of this day that you can. Will you make that decision today? Because if you'll make that decision today to do something big, to grab that ring, to walk in your purpose, to be fully engaged, if you'll do it today, you can do it tomorrow. And if you can do it tomorrow, you can do it on Friday. And if you do this for 21, 22, 23 days in a row, it becomes a habit. Can you imagine the consequences of every single day your habitual behavior is living every single day fully engaged, fully present, fully there, fully involved in your business, fully involved in your family, fully involved in your exercise, fully involved in your mental acuity, fully involved in your spiritual growth? Can you imagine what would happen at the end of your life if you made the decision on September 21st, 2022 to make the best, to be fully engaged and to live every single moment of your life like it was the last one you had? Imagine the great things we could do. Imagine the great things we could be. Imagine the legendary status, the legacy we could leave behind. Imagine the example that would be for your kids, for your friends, for the people who look up to you. Can you imagine? That's my wish for you today. That's my wish for me today. That I'm gonna live today and that I've got it's 6:22 a.m. here Central Time, which means I've got 18, 17 and 17 hours and 38 minutes to live every one of those seconds fully engaged, fully focused, fully present, fully involved. And I'm going to make the decision today to do that because this is the last one of these I've got. This is the last September 21st, 2022 that I have. And I'm going to make the decision that I'm going to be the best version of me today because you deserve the best version of me today. Jagger deserves the best version of me today. Cade, Christy, Carson, Zeke, Exit Realty Lake Country, the people at the stoplight beside me, the people at Starbucks that I see today, the guy that I'm going to see at 12:30 to do a listening presentation for him. They all deserve the best version of me. We're all one decision away. I love you. Love you guys. I'm gonna get off here. We gotta go to White House. Love you guys. I'm not sure why the numbers were a little low this morning, but maybe more people will watch it later. Be good, be great, be you. Love you guys. See you in the morning.